There's always been a question about how a ketogenic diet affects exercise performance. A new study sheds some new light on that question. Does ketogenic diet make you a better athlete? Does it make you a worse athlete?
Ketogenic diets and performance have been studied throughout the years by a lot of notable researchers. Tim Noakes, who himself was a competitive runner. Jeff Volek, Stephen Phinney, who wrote actually, I think, a couple of books on keto and performance, if at least one of those was. And they've always had some pretty good results, right? And there's been a lot of anecdotal research out there too. Now, Phinney and Volek would take cyclists, hook them up to all these stuff, put stuff in, needles in their arms and measure all this stuff. And they found through their studies that a lot of these people had very, very positive, these athletes had very positive results in the ketogenic diet. Some anecdotal evidence from other people that they worked with, runners, ultra marathon runners who did very, very well on a ketogenic diet. But the research has not been like across the board positive. There's always a little bit of this and there's always a little bit of that, which is not uncommon in research.
No, which is why review studies are so valuable.
Right.
Because a review study, which is what we're going to be focused on here, takes all of these little studies and it brings them together, and it has certain criteria that have to be met so that to be included in this review study. And what that did for, in this instance, is that it made a true comparison against a true ketogenic diet and a more controlled low-fat diet.
Right. They called it a mixed macronutrient diet, but yeah, that was their control.
Yeah.
The data that they took from these 17 studies focused on healthy, non-obese individuals. So they weren't looking at anybody who had conditions or who had a lot of weight to lose.
Right. And they looked at male and female athletes and weekend warriors. And they found there was some differences in gender. Gender makes a difference.
Gender does make a difference, yeah. So they found in a ketogenic diet that, especially with aerobic training or exercise, so they measure the intensity of aerobic exercise by a VO2 max. It's something called VO2 max. The higher the VO2 max, the more you're exchanging your oxygen and carbon dioxide, right? So you're utilizing more substrate, to get that energy. They found that women actually needed to be at a higher level of VO2 max to be burning, to be at their best body fat burning, while men could be a little bit below that, in a range and still get that body fat burning.
Okay, right. So you're talking about body fat burning, which is obviously important to a lot of our viewers as well. And that was the difference they found with gender. But before we get into performance, I think it's very important that they did find a lot of difference in the loss of body fat.
Oh, yes.
Compared to between the two diets.
Right. So the ketogenic diet had substantial, significant decreases in body fat, mass, and body mass, overall. And that was for men and women. While the control diet, the mixed macronutrient diet, no difference.
Right.
I mean, it made zero difference.
Right. And now, what about performance between the two diets, ketogenic diet and the lower fat control diet?
So, exercise performance, ketogenic diet, control diet. Ketogenic diet's pretty neutral.
Right.
Not better, not worse.
Right. In other words, the study showed that between a ketogenic diet and a control diet, it's a big nothing burger as far as like your performance, right? So there's really not that much difference. But that is so significant to, Joe and Jane Schmo exercisers who, just like you and me, who want to stay in shape and be on a ketogenic diet. Is this going to hurt us? No. Is it going to help us? No. But what it is going to do is it's going to burn body fat so much more efficiently.
Right.
So we are not dipping our performance by being on a ketogenic diet, but we are boosting our body fat utilization as fuel and loss of body fat.
Right. So it's body fat loss burger.
It is. It's not a nothing burger. It's a body fat loss burger.
Yeah, it's a good burger. And before we kind of cut this off, we should make a couple of things that they did note in the study. Number one, the length of time that a person's been on a ketogenic diet was very, very important.
Yes.
You have to be kind of in that fat adapted stage, and that takes some time.
Yeah, so we have a great study here, but there are so many variables to take into account. And a lot of these studies didn't go for months and months on a ketogenic diet. But what we see from the research as far as how long you have to be on a ketogenic diet to maintain a good level of performance in your exercise is at least 84 days. That seems to be the standard that they hit.
Yeah, so you're talking 2 to 3 months,
Yeah.
To really get so that your body is kind of in there. And there's also obviously other variables too, right? Genetic variables, just, from person to person. One person's a better cyclist and the other person is a better deadlifter. Then that's just the way your bodies are.
Yeah. But overall, I think this is really a great study. So ketogenic diet, great for fat loss and keeps your performance where it was without skipping a beat.
Yep, you don't have to worry about it.
All right, so I hope that has been helpful to you guys. Thanks so much for watching, and please subscribe to our channel, and we will see you in the next video.